What's happening, team? Welcome back to another episode of the YouTube. Today's going to be a little bit different, midweek episode, and in this episode you get to see a little behind the scenes of me getting some treatment from Mr. Alex Morel, who is online physio and also the owner of Move Physio Practice up in Harrogate. So I've been working with Alex for the best part of 5-6 months. Initially kind of got to him through some referrals of other people in the industry that I know and trust and respect, and they've been seeing him for a number of reasons. But the reason I kind of went to him is because after 2021, where I took up kickboxing, those of you that followed me for a little bit of time, and ran the marathon last year, and was trying to kind of maintain 5-6 days of heavy training, my body just kind of had a few injuries really, and I'd neglected them for another time, carried on training. It was kind of like daily pain and kind of put it to one side, and eventually it became an injury, and that kind of dawned on me. So I had an issue around my hip, issue around my shoulders, an issue with my elbows. Now some of those injuries were pre-existing from rugby days that had just kind of flared up from the increase of activity, particularly with that kickboxing, rotating, twisting, turning and impact that I wasn't used to. But then the marathon was kind of the final nail in the coffin. I came into the front side of this year, 2022, with these injuries that were limiting me doing quite a lot. Couldn't squat below parallel, for example, couldn't press above my head, couldn't really grip anything with my elbows as well. So went to Alex, made it very clear from the get-go that I wanted to carry on integrating into training. And the reason that I went to him is because he's got a strength conditioning background married up with physiotherapy as well, so he's got a very good outlook at things, and it really is about trying to get people away from pain, back into performance, and keeping people training really well. So he came down, tested me, we went through some tests. The data was really poor for me to see because I just lost a lot of my athletic qualities that I had when I was a rugby player, the ability to be springy and powerful, etc. So that's kind of what we've been working on in the first 12 weeks. Slowly integrating myself back into kind of deep squatting, putting barbells and dumbbells overhead, earning the right to move, and then I got myself into the turf games, got through that, which was brilliant, but picked up a bit more of an elbow injury. So we've been managing things as conservatively as possible while still trying to keep me training well, and those that follow my journey will know that I train pretty hard each day, and Alex has been a big catalyst to me being able to do that. So today he's coming down, going to assess me ahead of HYROX, give me a kind of little tune up, and then hopefully I'll sail into the weekend in a good way. I must stress, I think it's very important to have a trusted network of practitioners who you can kind of refer out to as a coach, but also as an athlete, so that you can be well looked after, because if you do kind of toe the line with performing at a high level every day, sometimes you get hurt, and it's important that you seek the right help if that does happen. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Do I bring the cream? So make sure you don't get the angles of him too close to me, right? Because for reference, Alex is 7'2". No, I'll give that to you. Would you face that?
Stay stood for me first. Shoulders, please. Back up, please. And again. So when you get there,
a little bit of hamstrings, that's moving quite nicely.
Yeah. Then go back for me.
A little bit just down the entire left side.
Say that again, sorry.
Kind of just down the entire kind of left side of mine.
Yeah. Have your abs or your left, your back?
Spinal rectus.
So touch again, please. Come back up for me. Left hand on the outside of your left leg. And yeah, slide it down for me as far as you can. And then right side. You get that?
Just in here.
Are you consciously doing anything there? Are you trying area?
Same, just not as deep, not as much.
And then twist left for me.
Higher up and away down. Rib feels a bit higher. Yeah.
Is that right? Try to relax as much as you can.
Done?
To get there?
Nothing. Down there on the left hand side.
Yeah.
With your left hand.
Yeah.
Press directly down. almost get like a bit of like a release, like my hips keep bearing up. Oh, calf cramp.
Where? Up the top here?
Upper, yeah. So this used to be a very regular thing for me back in my rugby playing days. I'd be on the treatment bed at every opportunity. Still get regular treatment, and as I kind of explained earlier, over the last, well, it must be 4, 5, maybe 6 months now, I've been working with Alex to get me back to playing, which these days is pretty much being able to train as much as I can throughout the week, 5, 6 days a week, and I have started now getting a little bit more competitive. Things like HYROX like this weekend, the marathon obviously a couple of weeks ago, and hopefully get into some more functional fitness competitions, like national fitness games, turf games, and maybe some more local CrossFit comps. So it's been a bit of a journey. I first went to Alex with my hip and elbows, and then threw myself into turf games in the summer. Managed to come out fairly unscathed, other than my good elbow at the time took a bit of a beating. So yeah, we've kind of managed things, not even conservative really. Alex has been able to get me back into full training really well. There's still a few things I need to manage. I'm very fortunate that Alex has travelled down to give me some treatment ahead of this weekend and just assess where we are with the programme and where we go from here.
So, when we first started working with Ollie, one of the big things to establish with his background was the few injuries that he's had in the past from his rugby playing days. So there's an old left knee injury which required some surgery, ankle injury, and we're just trying to work around some of the compensations there. Obviously the problem with his hip was on that same side as the knee, struggled to tolerate a bit of load through the calf, through the hamstring, and we've just over the last sort of 5-6 months been bringing that up to speed. Managed to get through the marathon well, built up to HYROX this weekend, so we're just a bit of a tune-up ahead of that, a little bit of tightness around his back, but he's absolutely flying from my perspective. Numbers from a performance perspective are flying, and it's just make sure we have some key goals and drivers that we'll keep working towards, so that it's not just trying to prevent the injury, but actually trying to push performance on, making him a better athlete for the long run really. On your right side for me, please.
Feel good. I love a bit of TLC.
Leg straight for me at the bottom, and then this one's there. You might not love this, but I apologise in advance.
Spoke too soon. He's exposing my IT band, which means one thing. But no, as I said earlier, I'm someone who's always responded quite well to treatment. I don't know whether that's because I'm a drama queen and just love TLC, or whether it's because of the injuries and I guess the sheer volume of training that I react well to it. So yeah, this tune-up's going to be very welcomed ahead of this weekend. And also, when you're left to your own devices, particularly with training, even with the best intentions, sometimes things can go wrong, or you can go down a bit of a path with how you're moving and just revert back to type. So these check-ins from a treatment perspective are great, but then also just we'll go through some training as well. Just make sure I'm moving as best as possible and executing the training program well.
Good, yeah?
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Nothing?
No. I mean, I feel pressure, but no. Nothing.
Yeah. Oh.
That's probably the most I feel it.
Yeah. And if I take you to there?
Yeah, more there.
Yeah. And here?
Literally right on the point.
On the bottom, yeah.
Like I said, it's just a case of getting a bit of maintenance every now and again. Alex is fucking really good at what he does as well. He's been helping me writing the programming for me over the last sort of, say, 16 plus weeks, integrating bits of the Perform program in with the stuff that I need to do just for daily kind of maintenance and rehab from a rehab perspective. Back to feeling, almost my best. Really good run in the marathon. Looking forward to HYROX. Feel really fit ahead of that. Still can't quite yet dance with a barbell, but that's more of a kind of skill development as well as a kind of rehab piece as well. But no, I feel really good. Very grateful for Alex coming down and treat me. I'm going to get into a bit of training now and just assess some of the positions I'm getting into, just to make sure that I am executing as best as possible. Yeah. Yeah.
You want to stay loose to the arm side. You're basically, your press fixing about here. So it's making sure that you're like, you've got almost no arm tension. And you're driving here, as it pops up, it's like start pushing the weightless part.
Yeah.
So really like, if a push press and squat is like here.
So this is kind of the last piece, as well as gymnastics, that I need to try and get back into my training without hurting myself. Essentially weightlifting and gymnastics, two of the key components in competitive functional fitness. So yeah, just making sure that I'm exposing myself to this gradually over time, and making sure that kind of all the old conversations that I used to have, well, that I still have, I'm just trying to muscle through things in my upper body, hence putting a lot of stress on shoulders and elbows, isn't there? So just respecting the process a little bit more.
How are you doing now?
Calf. It's decent that though. 33? What have you got?
26. Still put it there. Wait, this is nothing.
From there, we're pulling into that sort of line of ground, lower hip, then sit in those back, good old squeeze, a little bit of pause, and there,
Calf.
Drop the heel a little bit.
I'm cramping like a little bitch every time I try and do the exercise. Basically trying to encourage a co-contraction between calf, hamstring, glute, and particularly my left hand side. Basically what I think's happened is I've had hamstring graft here. So hamstring is very weak, had the graft to repair my ACL. I think I also at the same time may have done some damage to my calf.
And the calf in the back here, it's called a posterior lateral corner injury.
Yeah. So just has no capacity to work, particularly when I try and isolate it with a simple exercise like that. I usually can force my way through things. When I isolate like that, you really highlight the problem. So
Just becomes the hardest thing in the world, eh?
something so easy. But now we can bench press, I'm good at that. So job done. I feel good. We've got a training session in. Like I said, just looked over a couple of bits. Really the only things I'm struggling with at the moment are going above head with like push press and stuff, and then just my Olympic lifting. But the struggle is not only the pre-existing or the injuries I've had, it's more kind of a technique thing, and just trying to get over and find a bit more fluidity in my movement rather than just trying to muscle through everything. But how's it looking, coach?
Yeah, it's good, mate. It's good. I think we've got a nice team in place as well. Some collaborative work with Mike Lee as well on the Olympic lifting side of things. But the big thing for me is that you mentioned, oh, this feels tough, but it's meant to be tough. From a rehab perspective, it should look like training like performance, because they're the adaptations that we need to get, particularly if you're used to training at a high level. Yeah. Me giving you some low level drills is going to do very little. Yeah. So, no, it's good. Really happy. Next time we catch up, we'll retest some power bits on the force plates, see where we're at from an athletic development point of view, and then push on again. Yeah. I mean, like I said, my training pretty much feels like it always has done. Like back to pushing good numbers, training hard. I just need to work out where I'm going with my training in terms of some goals. So post HYROX, there is a London one as well. We'll probably have some goals set up for 2023 with whether it's competitive fitness or I take up a hobby that I know Al's just done. BJJ raving about it. Sammy behind the camera is a jiu-jitsu nut as well. So I think it's only a matter of time before I'm on the mats. Anyway,
like, subscribe, share. I hope you've enjoyed it. Drop us a comment. Peace and love.